When we're looking for support with our confidence, confidence is not the problem. Our lack of self-worth, our stories about I'm not good enough, the self-talk that is underwriting the confidence issue is really the core of the issue. And that's what I dive immediately into so that we can look at how competent you are. Because confidence is actually bred through our ability to take daily action that challenges our fears and use our competence. And you are so competent already, and I already know this about hundreds of clients that I've done this process with. You are already competent, but you're not celebrating that competence because there is an underwriting belief system that says I'm not good enough and I'm not worthy. So when we start to work on confidence, what we're actually doing is getting to the root cause, because we can't change or transform what we don't understand. So what I do is actually pinpoint where the lack of confidence and self-esteem is coming from so that we can actually step you straight into your own unique genius and power, where you get to unapologetically show up as yourself without fear, without the fear of rejection, without the fear of not being accepted, where you actually get to celebrate your competence, which is your skills and your unique power and genius with the world, in your relationships, in your job, in social situations, by challenging that fear that says, if I am truly myself and I celebrate myself, something bad is going to happen to me. And there has been something in your past that has told you, okay, if you show up as yourself, you won't be accepted. So we go back, not for very long, and we heal that so that we can fully transform and step you into your own power. When you feel like you're lacking confidence, what's actually happening is the person that you believe that you are is not who you truly are. So you have essentially become misidentified. You have essentially bought into a made-up version of yourself that is not who you are. What I do when I'm first sitting with you is I pinpoint and I'm able to see exactly who you truly are. Beyond the personality or identity that you are creating to stay safe in the world, beyond what you do, I can actually tap into and connect with who you truly are and get you to see that for yourself. Because when you don't see this within yourself, when you're constantly giving yourself a hard time through self-talk, through whatever it is that you say to yourself on a daily basis, that's actually directly creating and dictating what's showing up in your life. It shows up in your relationships. Maybe you play small in a job. Maybe you are constantly people-pleasing others. Maybe you are putting yourself to the bottom of your to-do list. Maybe your health, your well-being, your stress, everything gets put last and other people's needs come first. When we actually start to realize that when you put yourself first and you pour so deeply into yourself and recognize who you actually are, not who you have become to believe that you are, then you actually have the ability to get present, to step into your own power, and to be able to serve with your unique gifts in the world without apology. This shows up in so many different ways, but the number one thing that I see people do that have low self-esteem issues is they will constantly sabotage their own success. They will constantly put others first. They will constantly play small. So however ways it's showing up for you, we want to get into that hidden belief and we want to change it and transform it really quickly so that you can get back to living. You can actually get back to just being the most authentic version of yourself in a body that you love, because your body and your self-image means a lot. Using your unique gifts and powers in the world. Connecting deeply in relationships without fear. And just enjoying, just having the happiness, the gratitude, the contentment, the joy, all of these beautiful things that we want for ourselves and our lives. So when I teach you who you are and who you are not, the beauty of that is that we get to tap back into who you are at your core, beyond the identity, beyond the people pleasing. You get to tap back into who you essentially really are. We get to release the past, all of the beliefs that say, I'm this way or that way. We get to release them. And we get to, and this is most important, build self-trust on a daily basis by taking action. Because when you challenge fear in small baby steps and you take action against it, that's how you build self-trust. Because underneath self-confidence is actually, I can trust myself and I am kind and compassionate to myself. I pour into myself before I pour into others or anything else, so that there is a natural overflow of energy. And when you do that, you actually tend to then attract exactly what it is that you've been wanting to manifest in your life. So there is competence, which I know you have a lot of. I bet you downplay all of your skills. I bet you downplay your achievements. I bet that even when you get moments of recognition that you never recognize it. So one thing we will work on is you actually recognizing how hard you are on yourself, but recognizing all of the amazingness that you turn up with on a daily basis. We will release that judgment that you have of yourself, and when that happens, magic begins to happen in your life. So once you can see your unique brilliance and your competence, and we challenge through action, through baby steps, with me as your biggest supporter and your biggest fan, then you will start to step into natural organic confidence that comes from building a relationship with yourself from the inside out that is unbreakable and unstoppable regardless of circumstances. So number one, we will transform your inner world first, because we cannot create out of chaos. So the first thing we do is go in and we look at the self-talk and we look at those self-limiting beliefs that were handed to you that don't belong to you, so that you can actually align with the greatest version of yourself. We get to design who you are and who you are not, what you want and what you don't want. And as soon as you do that, you start to align with this greatest version, and you get to show up as that every single day. And when the self-talk comes in, you will have tools to use on the spot to be able to self-calm, to be able to get yourself present, so that you know how to make decisions and how to show up as the greatest version of yourself in seconds or minutes, rather than going down a rabbit hole of questioning yourself constantly. You will release all of the past and past beliefs, so that we can then play a game of looking at the greatest possible version of your life and yourself, and a life vision that you love so much, because you have to have a big why to do this. And then we get to play with actually planning that out and putting it into action, and having the unconditional love, support and accountability for you to be able to step into this without any fear, knowing that you're fully supported the entire way through this journey. With every single process that I take a client on, it's really important that this process is number one, fun, which means it has to be empowering. We don't need to peel the onion, go back through years of trauma. What we need to do is look at what you want most out of life in terms of yourself, your relationships, your career, whatever it is, and be able to have ways of transforming blockages so that you can step into your power. So number one, it has to be fun. And that's why I use tools, not more talk. We make sure that this journey is fun, fast, easy, effective, and most of all viable. You don't need to spend hours searching or listening to hours and hours of affirmations, or reading self-help books, or going to see multiple therapists to spend your time figuring out what is wrong with you. That is a never-ending pathway that we don't need to go down. What I do is actually look at what is in the way, but what is right with you that we can actually start to celebrate and grow and expand into. So my name is Heidi Shannon, and I'm a life coach and a therapist, and I work very holistically. I will work with you on your health, your energy, your focus, your clarity, so that you are actually have the energy to show up every single day, to step into your own power. I will look at your limiting beliefs, your self-talk, and we will transform this so that we can start living from here. We can actually start living from a heartfelt, meaning, rich, purposeful existence. And then we start to play. We start to look at energy, how we actually really step you into your power. I was the ultimate self-sabotager. I started my career when I left high school as a professional dancer. I sabotaged it. I then stepped into a business consulting arena well beyond my years, earning a lot of money, and I sabotaged it. So I soon learnt, after a bit of a mental health crash, to actually pull back and to look at what was behind these self-esteem issues, where I had a lot of skill, but I could only take it so far before I would sabotage it. So when it comes to confidence and self-esteem and really setting that on fire, what I did learn is that we can't create out of chaos, and that we actually have to go on this journey with ourselves where we pull back and we get present and we start to create and we start to show up from a space of calm, meaning, purpose, fulfillment, richness, rather than progressing, do more, show up this way, you might be accepted if you do this. Don't say that, because you won't be accepted if you do that. It's so exhausting to sit in that seat of controlling and avoiding, rather than realizing that if I build a relationship with myself that is unbreakable, then I get to actually show up in the world how I want to. And the beauty of this is that the magic that happens in relationships, career, wealth, all of these different areas of our lives, we actually get to play with the energy of life. We get to play the game of life as ourselves, not a made up version of ourselves that has been handed to us from past stories or past beliefs or past experiences. So I'm urging you to book a call, because it's not a sales call. On that call, we're actually going to break down very, very quickly what is in the way of you having the confidence that you want, so that we can create a game plan together in the next 30 days to be able to start to transform from the inside out. Physically, mentally, emotionally, energetically, how it is you're going to step into the greatest possible version of yourself.